Welcome back, everyone. This is Ravy here with Kill 2, and we've got our next quarterfinal match ready to go for you. It's Mildly Intoxicated versus Verge of Collapse, and Mildly has brought out something new. They've got a double Sleipnir, triple Gila team with a Scimitar, 2 Sabers, and 4 Merlins.
Yeah, and Verge of Collapse going with something not quite as new, but still interesting. 2 Chronos, an Eos, Brutix, Oneros, Ishkers, 1 Mollis, and a couple Sentinels, which we've been talking a lot about Sentinels since they showed up a couple matches ago because they're a pretty strong ship. And they won't have a huge impact here, only really being important for the Sleipnirs and potentially for the logistics or the support late in the match. But
yeah. They would do a lot better against battleship teams, but they're still useful ships in any match, pretty much. These Gilas, we've seen them used badly a lot of times. I know you're not a fan of the drone setups, are you, Kill 2?
Well, I'm not a fan of the... Well, let's see what happens at the start of the match here before I go into it. But typically, yeah, I'm a little skeptical about Gilas, but I, like you, sort of think Mildly looks like they're in good shape here.
We've got dance on both the Logis right away.
Sorry, the teams did warp pretty far away, so there's, as you can see, a little bit of range to cover. But go ahead.
Yeah, we've got the Mildly team spreading out. They're going to take advantage of the fact that the drones don't need to be near the ships and get some distance and make those Cronoses bounce all over the field. But DPS applied to one of the Sentinels. They're trying to knock that down fast. It's not taking really a lot of damage because it's armor tanked and it's only in shield still.
Yeah, and he doesn't have too much near him either. That's basically just drones. We've talked about how it can be effective to just send groups of light drones after support, and that's basically what's happening to the Sentinel.
One of the Sleipnirs is being nuded and shot at by the Cronoses. Once he gets webbed, that's when we're going to see the damage really get high.
Yeah,
they haven't gotten within web range yet, but it's any time now.
God's Cold Blood closing fast on that Sleipnir and the other Chronos, as well as the Brutix not far behind, so damage should start to stack up quick.
And now he's down to 60 meters a second. Yeah, he's double webbed at 90% webs. He's going to take a lot of damage. That being said, we have seen hero tanks out of Sleipnirs for the Mildly Intoxicated team a couple times before. People shooting at Uki. That's actually the mistake that I made primary Uki in our match with the commentators and CC Piers versus them. He just tanked forever, and we'll see how we can do. As damage gets applied to the Neros, if that Sleipnir of Jay Johnson can stay up longer than the Neros, I think they're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, most of the Mildly team on top of the Neros now. It looks like he's about even with the Sleipnir. Of course, the Sleipnir running an ASB, he'll run out of charges, and then he'll go down fast, but it looks like he might go down anyway before the Oneros. They're pretty much neck and neck.
Oh, there's a lot of damage coming from those Cronoses, and he's not moving at all because of the webs. There he goes, Jay Johnson dying. And not a surprise, I know, for the Mildly team, but it hurts to lose a Sleipnir. And they're about to lose a Saber as well.
Yeah, it looks like the Sabers are going to be next. In case any of you are curious, the Gilas are running Berserkers. Sentries would show up probably in some matches against teams that are more kite-based, but a team that brawls like this with the Cronoses and the Brutix, Berserkers are just fine. The Oneros now finally going down for Verge of Collapse.
Yep, and there it goes down, but we've lost both the Sabers now for Mildly, and another Sleipnir going down. So it's going to be a race for Mildly to take down some of the DPS before they lose that Sleipnir of Dark Lord Solid Line.
And I'm just looking around here. There's definitely some support fights going on. One of the Mollises being attacked by a Merlin. There's an Ishkur chasing around one of the Gilas for some reason. No, he's to the side. But it looks like the second Sleipnir is going to go down pretty soon.
Yeah, he's going down pretty fast. He's getting hit very hard by these Vargers. And by the Eos, which is fitting blasters, so it can do some respectable damage as well. But one of the Cronus is taking a lot of damage too and going into armor. That said, without those Sleipnirs, the damage has dropped a lot for Mildly Intoxicated.
You know, we saw on that Sleipnir, the Scimitar was having a hard time keeping reps on him. He got 1 cycle near the end, but he missed some cycles, and as you can see, he's got jam drones and damps, and he had newts from the Sentinels as well, so he's having to work really hard to keep reps up.
We're seeing one of the best benefits of the Cronus is coming into play here against this drone team is that they've got all of those utility highs, which one of them is a smart bomb. So the Cronus is being primaried, has all those Berserkers on it, but those Berserkers are going to be disappearing. We've already seen some of them die to the smart bombs. The next set will probably blow up some more. Oh, they survived that one. But they're not going to last too much longer, though neither will God's Coldblood's Chronos.
And I actually locked up a Berserker to see how the drones are doing, and they're at about 20% armor. So there's a lot of Berserkers going to die. Of course, they can throw out more. That Chronos is going to die, though. So
they'll also have the option of using sentries at some point.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is really interesting. If they get both the Cronoses down, they get out from under the webs, and they can actually switch to a kite team. They can use the Gilas with sentries.
Frigates.
Yeah.
And they're losing their Scimitar now. The Scimitar is being webbed and scrambled, so he's not going to get away. But he's tanking right now with the ASB. He's not going to take too much longer after that, though.
He actually doesn't have any big ships on him right now. It looks like he's just getting killed by Ishkers for now, and drones.
Yep.
I don't know if any of the big support will come out to help. It looks like the second Chronos is not too far away, but he's going to be having a hard time getting there. It looks like he's scrammed
now
and not moving very fast.
Yeah, for Mildly, the race now is to take down all those frigates. At that point, well, actually, they're just going right after the Kronos. Forget about the frigates. They are going to try to knock down that Kronos, and it is going down pretty fast. The drone damage from the Helas, do they have more
They're still Berserkers, yep.
Okay, so
another smart bomb on this Kronos as well, but Berserker's still there.
If they can take down that Kronos before they lose the Scimitar, they're in great shape. Because
it looks like they're going to.
Yeah, those Berserkers lasting quite well through the smart bomb, and we've seen a couple of them explode, but it's not going to be enough because that Kronos is into structure. I don't think that the frigates by themselves are going to be able to take down ASB tanked Helas, assuming that they are ASB tanked.
Ooh, Scimitar out of reps now. Scimitar getting low, and he goes down. So, oh my gosh, the Kronos is burning away too. The Kronos was scrammed and webbed.
And he's smart bombed all the drones off of him.
Oh my gosh.
He has no drones on him anymore. That smart bomb knocked the last of the drones off while he was in like 0% structure.
There he goes. I was going to say, he can't really do anything else. He's passive. If he would have been able... Oh my gosh, Aguila just ran out of the arena.
And it was Uki, the captain for Mildly Intoxicated, the guy that we've been talking about so much as being a real tournament stalwart, has flown out of the arena. I don't think they're going to have enough DPS to take down these Ishkars now.
That is so gross. I can't believe that happened. Now, an EOS and a Brutix can probably finish this with all that support there.
Yeah.
One of the sentries looks like one of the Helos looks like he popped out sentry drones. Now maybe abandoned them and switched to Ogres. It looks like both of them have Ogres out, I guess, hoping to finish off one of the battle cruisers, but
at this point, like, they've got time, but they just need to keep these ships alive. And the Merlin's not going to survive with the Ishkars on him. The Helas are probably getting a lot of Helas' web, so we're about to see how it's
all the support just made it to the first Hela there, so we'll have to see how well he's able to do.
ASB tanked, then he'll be able to last a while, but once the Brutix gets on top of him and with all these Ishkars, it won't be that long. And we're not seeing him boost. There goes the boost. All right, so he does have an ASB. That's a good call on their part. But if they had a third Hela, it would be a much, much better situation for them.
Both the Verge battlecruisers burning across now towards that Hela, and they're not going to get stopped. The one remaining tackle support ship, that Merlin from Mildly, is pretty far away, isn't going to be able to catch them and slow them down, and the Hela's not moving anywhere. So pretty soon, the entire Verge team is going to be on top of this Hela, and they shouldn't have a problem finishing them off.
Verge of Collapse is going to be taking this, moving through to the semifinals, knocking out the guys who most of us predicted would make it to the semifinals now that... Rote, and in the case of Stauffer, Raiden is out. That's going to mess up our brackets once again. And so the right side just completely confounded.
It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that Verge made it through this. This is, like we said, Mildly's one of the teams that I thought had a really good chance to go all the way. I know that other people did too. They're very strong, and Verge is a team nobody really knows what to expect from.
Verge just knocked out Rote and is about to knock out Mildly. That is an impressive resume right there.
Yeah, definitely says something. An Ishkar down for Verge Collapse. Not going to matter too much, but little damage still being sustained by them.
Last Hela. Yeah, they can't rep, so things are going to die over time, but it's not going to be enough. At the very least, they're just going to win on points, if nothing else. I will note that I know some of the Verge guys got angry at me for calling them X-Try. They've got some X-Try guys, but actually they've got people from all over the place. They're just Southern PvPers, small gang group, and doing very well in this tournament. Yeah,
they're doing amazing. I kind of now feel like I'm going to turn into a little Verge fanboy because they are really, really impressing us. They've done some awesome stuff. Yeah, so we'll just have to wait a second here for Verge to cross the field. That other Hela is a little ways away, but the support's going to catch up to him in just a second here. I can't believe Uki flew out of the arena.
That's got to hurt. That is a painful position to be in. It would have been remarkably hard for them, even with him in.
Yeah.
But they would have had a chance with him in.
It makes a big difference. I mean, the core of their setup is really...
The Brutix probably would have been dead by now.
Those 5 ships going from having 3 core ships to 2 is a really big deal. I mean, that's... definitely has a chance to change the flow of the match, but
it's a good run for them. They have been perpetual strong contenders, never won the tournament. Maybe next year for them. You feeling kind of smug that your hating on the drone teams is working out?
No, I actually really like what Mildly did with the drone team here. I like they didn't rely on sentries. I think most of my hate is actually for sentries.
Yeah.
Heavy drones can be a problem too because it's hard to move their damage around the field depending on the setup you're fighting.
Bombs
yeah, but in this match, the smart bombs didn't matter till after the match was pretty well decided, and they had another set they could have launched. And the speed didn't matter too much either because the Kronoses and the battlecruisers are slow enough that they were able to keep their damage applied for most of the match. So I don't really feel like they got punished for bringing drones, at least as much as the teams that have brought sentries have, with the exception of that ECM team.
What you often see with these drone teams is they either don't bring any sentries or bring nothing but sentries.
Yeah.
And that's both terrible mistakes.
Yeah, they kind of come in with an expectation about what sort of setup they're going to be. And the nice thing really is you have the flexibility to be a couple different kinds of setups.
Yeah.
So
you can drop warriors if you need to, but It's not going to be enough. That Gila is getting neuted, getting destroyed. He's on his reload for his ASB, and there he goes. So now it's just going to be one Merlin left, and I'm sure these Ishkars are going to be able to track him down without too much trouble. He's got a stream of drones already following him.
And I want to say this is another match that points to the strength of the Sentinel. It's hard to say how much difference it made, but I saw the new effects on the Scimitar for a lot of the time it was going down, and the tracking disruptors on the Slipner for the entire fight. And that, I don't know, I think that's a really strong support ship.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably would have been having less of a role here than in most fights because the Sleipnirs were shooting at Cronus most of the time. But it would have made it very difficult for Mildly to make the choice of switching to frigates with the Sleipnirs. It would have discouraged them from that, keeping the frigates alive. And it also, they used it for the newts. They got them on top of the Scimitar. You can do that when the Logi gets all by himself, not defended by anything, and everyone forgets about the Sentinels, and you just run them in behind, take them down. This last Merlin is just running around.
He's running around, and Verge seems happy to loot. Tell me a little bit, since you've actually been, I mean, you're on one of the most rich tournament teams that exists out there, but how much does money matter typically? Like, does a team like Verge care enough about...
It can be tight to get it together, but I don't think there's a huge difference in performance in the money. Time has run out, though, so we've got the call. This Merlin is going to survive. Congratulations to Verge of Collapse, winning with a very, very strong victory, and we'll now send you back to Soundwave in the studio.